Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of the Coffee Course. Today we're going to be working with French press, a very popular method used in lots of houses in Ireland. I'm sure the trick is to make a decent cup of coffee with it. And really what you're looking for is the least amount of sludgy sediment left in this. Get yourself a nice clean mouthfeel cup of coffee. Today we're using coffee from the guys in Stone Valley in Clonakilty and Cork, and we're going to work with this Just Like Heaven from El Salvador. So this is actually a straightforward enough process. A couple of important things to do. As always, it's important to have the coffee ground correctly and to have your weight set. Despite what some people may think, medium ground is actually the perfect way to make a French press. Pop your line of scales, tare it to 0, and then you take your medium ground coffee and pretty much straight into the container. From here, take your pot of boiling water. You want a larger vessel than usual. You don't need a swan neck spout like the previous episodes for V60 and Chemex, because it's very much just getting the water in there. And like I said, being a litre of water, you will need something quite big. So again, we're going to tare the scales, even though we have measured this beforehand. We're going to fill up our pot. And then once we get to the top, we're going to give it a good swirl in order to make sure it's all mixed through correctly. For today's recipe, we're using 65 grams of coffee to a litre of water. From here, I'm just going to pop the top on, and now we wait for 4.5 minutes. With the French press, there is a bit of time involved, so it does take a bit of patience. Once you've reached the 4.5 minute mark, being gentle once again, which is all about, pop this off, grab your 2 soup spoons, break your crust and push it back, and then give 5 or 6 good stirs to your French press. Now, this is going to form a little layer on top. This might look good, but you actually want to get rid of this or it's going to taste very bitter. So grab a vessel to hand, and this is where it takes a little bit of a trick, pulling together the scum from the top of the coffee and tearing it off. As always, just being very gentle, the least amount of disturbance possible in order not to get too much sediment into your coffee. Now, from here, pop your lid back on and being very gentle, plunge the press all the way down. This should actually be quite straightforward to do, provided you've ground the coffee properly and waited the right amount of time. We're going to wait for 1 more minute for this to settle. Once the minute has passed, you're ready to pour your coffee. Once again, this process needs to be quite gentle. Make sure that you turn the top of your French press so that the holes are lined up with the spout. Grab a cup, and once again, all about being gentle, pour your coffee very slowly. And that's going to be your French press. So as you can see, the resulting cup of coffee should be relatively clean and free of sediment.
Yeah, so that's been the French press with Jeff. Jeff, so yeah, what are your thoughts on French press?
French press, bit of a classic. I think everyone likes it, everyone enjoys it. There's probably a lot of bad habits around making it, most of which are relatively easily solved. First and foremost, scales. Get a scale.
Big time.
I think everyone has that habit of, oh, we'll do 1 scoop or 2 scoops for a cup or whatever they may have been used to. Are you using the same scoop? You know, is a scoop level? Is it just much easier? Buy a decent scales, 15, 20 quid, you get one, and then all you're working to is a number. And when you get that cup of coffee that you do like, it's not guesswork and magic getting back there again. It's just
exactly
straightforward.
It's not, did I heap it? Did I flatten it?
Yeah.
Are you explaining it to somebody else? Am I heaping it? Am I flattening it? You know, exactly, yeah, scales, so important.
Grind size, as we said during the video as well, very important. Keep it medium. There's a thought process that maybe people would grind it even coarser, but you're going to end up with more sediment then.
Yeah.
And as you saw, like, the nature of that coffee, it is going to have a bit more particulate in it, and it is going to be a bit darker, and that's fine. But if you process it right and grind it right and are careful during the making of it, you're going to get, as we saw at the end, still a relatively clean cup of coffee with a good mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, it's not going to be as clear as a V60 or maybe a Chemex or whatever else, but you're going to get a great flavor profile when you make it right.
Exactly. I think you get a more wholesome, more rounded mouthfeel. We were just tasting it there.
Yeah.
It's such a different cup of coffee. It's just a complete. It's like apples and oranges, really. You know, some people really like the Chemex. I think a lot of people drink. The French press with milk. You know, my mom, if you're watching this, you need to watch this video. Really though, a lot of people, you know, they'll have milk with their French press, so they kind of want the coffee to go a lot further, so they grind it, you know, they want it to go a lot further, so they want it to be a lot more stronger, so the milk the coffee comes through the milk.
That's a bit of a legacy thing too, though, as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, because it was so popular for so long, and as I said, it was probably made poorly, maybe that association is in people's head with what that flavor profile should be.
Yeah.
And they don't realize, I think because it's so old school, that you can't get a good cup of coffee out of it, but you actually can, and you can enjoy it, but those old habits will die hard.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like we saw, it is a bit more time consuming.
Yeah.
You know, there is a bit more time waiting around. There's probably the habit that people have of just grinding it, throwing it in, thinking it's quick, it's easy.
Yeah.
And it can be quick and easy, but it can also be good if
Yeah.
you're willing to put a little bit of effort in.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's just spending that time. Patience is really key with it. People don't really realize that. You know, the longer you wait, the more you're going to get out of the French press, really.
Yeah, we saw that at the end too as well. I mean, I know we waited the minute. You could wait longer if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe just honing in your technique as well, as you said, with once you push back and give it a mix, and that scum that forms is going to be very bitter if you leave it there. And it looks, you know, it may to some people look like that nice crema you see in coffee. Sometimes it has the same color profile, but I think taking it off carefully and just being nice and gentle with it, and you're heading for, as I said, quality cup of coffee.
Yeah, really well said. Yeah.
Any other thoughts yourself?
No, I think we've
Fairly well covered.
covered everything. Yeah. So thanks, guys, for another week of Coffee Course. I've been Tom from Pangaea Coffee Culture.
And I'm Jeff from Tree Bark Store. And we'll see you on the next episode.
That's been another week, guys, of Coffee Course. I've been Tom from Tree Bark. Not Tom. This is Jeff from Tree Bark Stores and Tom from Pangaea Coffee Culture.
Do you want to redo that bit again?
100%.